Hey everyone, Lotus Prince here. You know, we've gone through the Resident Evil 2 board game's core scenario and B-Files expansion, but now we have something that I'm rather intrigued by. The survival horror expansion. And I'm intrigued by this one because I don't quite know what it is. The core set was effectively the video game's A scenario, and the B-Files expansion was the video game's B scenario. But the survival horror expansion, you'll see shortly, but it has a bunch of different characters and a couple of different monsters. I'm just wondering how this is going to factor into the main set, or apparently there's also a couple of standalone sets. Let's take a look. Alright, let's take a closer look at the survival horror expansion. Not all the survivors of the Raccoon City incident were concerned with escaping the nightmare. For some, those of dark hearts and even more deranged minds, the only response was to prowl the abandoned hallways and tunnels in search of prey. But the survivors should not despair, for new allies can also be found, and with them, new weapons to confront such challenges. So, new content, 5 unique survivor characters, new weapons, new enemies, a game mode, 2 completely new scenarios with player versus player. Huh. So if you want to add extra challenge and depth or see the world burn, this expansion is the ideal accompaniment. But of course you need the core set. So we have some interesting things going on here. We have Annette and Sherry Birkin, Ben, the reporter, the guy who was in the jail cell the whole time in the video game, William Birkin, human form, Chief Irons, Brian Irons, Brad Vickers, the guy who exists only as a zombie, and Marvin Branagh. Marvin was the cop who died early in the game, and Brad Vickers, if you don't remember, was the STARS member who was killed by Nemesis in Resident Evil 3 and exists solely as a zombie in Resident Evil 2. Then we have giant spiders, Ivy, zombie Brad Vickers, so human Brad Vickers and zombie Brad Vickers. Human Brad Vickers I don't think was ever in the video game. And we have zombie Marvin Branagh. Yeah, that happened. So, why don't we see if we can go ahead and open the package with one hand. And I'm a righty, and I'm using the scissors with my left. I don't know if this is going to go well, but we'll try it. There we are. So, now for the really hard part, opening this tightly vacuum-sealed lid with one hand. I actually don't think that's happening, so I'm going to put the camera down after all. There we are. So we have the rules booklet, which I'm actually quite curious about. So we have the characters, the enemies again, we have the various cards, and a spooky spider. New characters, we have Advanced Leon Kennedy? Oh, this is regarding, I think, the regular game. It says if you're playing as Leon on 12B, you may change to Advanced Leon Kennedy. And if zombie Brad Vickers is defeated in scenario 1A at the beginning of 2A, then you could have Claire be Advanced Claire. So this is actually retroactively affects the core game. Sherry and Ben, starting on these particular scenarios. Marvin, particular scenario. Brad. Oh, that's funny. If you haven't met zombie Brad Vickers in 1A, then you could play as Brad Vickers in 2A. That's amusing. Annette. Completing a scenario beating a Birkin encounter, we could change to Annette at the start of the next scenario. And she cannot be... Oh, if we become Annette in A, then she cannot appear in B. That's crazy. I gotta see what these characters do. New weapons. Limited ammunition. Limited ammo weapons do not use an ammo dial. When making an attack with a limited ammo weapon, you roll an encounter die as part of the attack roll. If you roll umbrella symbol, then you're just out of ammo. That's kind of like the, this is a weird reference to make, but it's kind of like the Doom board game. And I don't mean the new one. I mean the Doom 3 style board game, where you would roll to see if you expended ammo. I mean, if you spent any, not if you spent all. Finding new weapons. Flamethrower. Gatling gun. No way. Spark shot. Hard mode. Oh good, the game wasn't hard enough as it was already. So what happens in hard mode? When you reset the tension deck, remove 2 green cards and put in a Vigor Mortis red card. Ugh. Subtract 1 from any encounter die roll. Just all the time. Hell no. During campaign mode, no continues. Yikes. For those of you who are brave enough to attempt the game this way, we salute you. It won't be easy. You're not kidding. New enemies. Giant spiders replace venomous spray with venomous spray from this expansion to include ivies, to include poison ivies. So it's the Entangling Vines card. Mini-bosses. Zombie Brad Vickers. Reach the RPD courtyard without searching for any items in Scenario 1A. Hey, that's how you get him in the video game. Zombie Marvin. During 3A. Okay. Player versus player, though. What the hell is this? So, dangerous and unhinged individuals hide in the shadows, furthering their sinister agendas. No tension phase during their activation. If an in-game effect would require them to draw additional cards, like Echoes in the Darkness, place the effect on the next character to activate after the PvP character. So are these just like enemy characters then? PvP do not count toward the number of characters in generating the ink ribbon pool. A PvP character cannot trade or otherwise interact normally with they can't trade, search, for, or place items in their inventory at all. They cannot use a typewriter. Characters cannot attack or be attacked by PvP characters. Oh! So it's versus in the sense of completing their own agendas and not actually killing the survivors. The enemy characters are also trying to survive because they're not magically immune to zombies. That's clever. So there's ulterior motives. I like. It's almost like Risk when you're playing with the special rules. And then we have the special actual scenarios, the 2 scenarios. That's interesting. Let's get a little bit of a look at what this entails. And there are just no cards in here. They're like weirdly up here. They must have shifted when I was turning the box upside down. That's kind of silly. But anyway. So. Is this still... Yeah, this is still taped shut. Alright. Not a big deal. Okay, so we have Sherry. We have, I believe that's William. We have Ben. Brad with a star's knife. Annette. And Irons, I suppose? And then we have Zombie Brad and Zombie Brano. We have spiders. We have ivies. Clever. And we would have had a deck in here, but it fell out. It's fine. And we also have more individually specific cards. I don't know if I really want to spoil what these are, necessarily. I'll get a look at some of them, I suppose. Although, they're really kind of stuck in here. Are these also taped? I don't think so. I think it's just a tab. We have the G-Virus sample, I suppose. I'll go ahead and remove this from the packaging, as well as the big cards. Why not? For the little cards, there really aren't too many. Sherry's Photo, Flamethrower, Unicorn Medal, Sparks Shot, Gatling Gun. That's cool. We got, oh, that Cult Pistol, the secret one for the secret costume. Bestial Rage, I don't even know what that is. And the Eagle Medal lock door thing, cool. I'll look into what those do later, no spoilers. But look at the back of these cards. What's going on with this? Like, we have the regular stuff here, but these are some sorts of hazards. So we have the Giant Spider data, Ivy, Poison Ivy, Zombie Bread, Zombie Brownout. I don't want to show the cards, which is why I'm holding them at an intentionally terrible angle. Although I got to see what advanced Leon Kennedy has that regular doesn't. He still has the full inventory and 2 dodge roll. Okay, so regular Leon has... It's the same weapon loadout, but regular Leon has... He can use items when enemies are on him. But here, heads up, when another character on the same tile is hit by an attack, he could suffer the attack instead. And hard to kill. The first time he suffers enough damage to become unconscious or die, put it to danger. So it's basically the single player rules, but Leon just has it as a power for multiplayer. Advanced Claire. 6 shooter. She begins the game with that other gun instead of the handgun, the Cult SAA. That's amusing. And she's the only one who could use it? Sounds right, just like in the video game. Marvin, Brad. I'll look at those more when I come to playing the scenario. Ben, Annette, Sherry, Irons. I can't believe you could play as freaking dirtbag Irons. Birkin. And then we have some new tension cards. Again, no spoilers, but we have Malformations of G, Venomous spray. Ah, great. It's just more of the regular cards, I guess. Oh no, but it says these versions are different. I think. I don't know if all of them are different, but some of these are. And then we have traps. Wait, these aren't real bullets. That sounds like it sucks. Smash barricades, obscure puzzles, flickering lights, broken handle. Oh my god, these things sound like such a freaking nuisance. But I'm curious to see how the regular scenarios might change with these, as well as how the new scenarios work. So there you go. That's Resident Evil 2, the Survival Horror expansion. I look forward to trying it out.